lady gives this testimony about how she had endured and suffered and died and came back. And what stuck with me, what really stuck with me, is not that she overcame the warfare in her body physically, and not that she overcame all of those things, that the Lord gave her restoration. But what I found significant about a strong woman is that she was concerned about her husband.
That's right.
She was concerned about his thought pattern, his feelings, and his emotions, because he had to prepare for death and then not know when she was going to die. Then she died and come back and did not know how long she was going to be here. Had to minister to the church, had to take care of the family. You don't understand that the choices you make or the suffering you endure, that they don't only affect you, but they affect who's kind to you. And you ought to be thankful for who's connected with you. Because when you broke going through, when you suffer going through, you're not going through by yourself. And you ought to be able to appreciate the gift God gives you, because they will also get back life. That's why you got to make sure you're not in an illegal relationship, because illegal relationship will take life from you, and you don't have time to be drained and have life separated from you from people that ain't supposed to be there. Oh, hallelujah. So I'm concerned now, because I look at every relationship differently now, because he could have left, that the family could have left, and she would have understood, but her faith hit his faith, and their faith united together. And it's a wonderful story, but the story is not over yet. That's just one book. The chapter is closed. We're moving on to the next book. The next book involved me. Thank you. The next book involved another prophet that comes along to define her testimony. So she's telling me about delayed implantation. She starts talking about polar bears, and I listened to the story, and then I studied a little more polar bears and regular bears, brown bears, black bears, and I started to study everything about mammals. And when I studied mammals and bears and polar bears, I found out that there was a process that we all go through in the body, especially women in particular. And the process has to do with what she discussed with me called delayed implantation. So I found out in delayed implantation there is a thing called diapause. And in delayed implantation, well, delayed implantation is more defined by what diapause does. Dia in the Greek means to stop or to pause, or to stop rather, dia, and pause or pauses in the Greek means in the middle. So the one means to stop and the other one means in the middle. Dia, pause, stop, in the middle. Well, there's a word that's united or connected to diapause, and that word connected to diapause is facultative diapause. Well, facultative diapause suggests that when a person is trying to give birth, that the embryo can't be planted into the uterus. It can't be planted into the uterus, or it's stopped from being planted into the uterus. If it is planted into the uterus, then birth is going to start from that point on. But what it does is, either from stress or what the body is able to do, the metabolism slows down. So the embryo will not be implanted into the uterus to start the conception or the forming of birth. So what it does is it also stops lactation. Well, lactation has to do with the milk that's coming out of the breast to feed or breastfeed a child you already have. And what's peculiar about this is that the mother who's enduring going through diapause or delayed implantation, it number one suggests that she is pregnant with something. She is pregnant with something. However, lactation stops. Lactation stops, so they're suggesting that she's also breastfeeding a small, immature child. Now, when I had to pause and see what the Lord was saying, that while I'm pregnant, trying to give birth to something, I'm also having to feed and take care of an immature child. That while I'm trying to give birth to what God has put in me, I'm too busy helping somebody else's vision to really concentrate on what it is God has put in me. That while I'm trying to plan for my future, help my marriage, move in my life, create some kind of resources for my house. I got to deal with immature people and still feed from a nipple people that should be eating like I'm eating. And I can't afford to produce for myself because I'm always fulfilling dreams for somebody else, helping my mother, helping my family, helping my brother, always obligated to people that are not obligated to me, fulfilling desires, and I can't finish my own. Even helping my wife and helping my husband, but I can't finish school. I got some things I want to do. I got into a marriage, got into a relationship incomplete, and before I could complete a cycle in my life, I had to deal with somebody else that was coming along in hope that they would help me to advance, but not knowing that they were incomplete themselves. So I put too much burden on somebody that had me fulfill a dream that had not even fulfilled a dream for themselves. Now we got two people that are incomplete with unfulfilled dreams. Can't help one or the other. There is no advancement. We both late. We are frustrated in marriage and money. Both of us got jobs, still broke and in debt. How do you help somebody when you can't help yourself? In the middle, we try to be intimate. We make love. We have children. We fulfill desires, and we invite children into the chaos we've already had because we were incomplete. We were unserviced. We were unloved. We were damaged and abused. Never got healed or restored. Now I get into something unrestored, unhealed, incomplete, and don't know what to do. And it could be for you. And maybe it didn't work because you didn't work before it worked. And maybe it didn't work because you didn't understand. Neither did you investigate what it was you were getting into. So what happens is it's too much for you to handle. So everything stops. Everything stops right when God said he was going to work it out. Everything stops right when he told you this marriage was the one. Everything stops right when he told you to move. Now you can't pay no more. It stops. Now you can't. He told you to do the church. It stops. He told you to leave and go away. It stops. You started school. Now you can't afford it. It stops. You helped everybody. Now you can't. It just stops. But you know God said it, but it stops. And now you're not in the beginning. You're stuck in the middle. And now you still don't hear God. He told you how to get here. He put you here. But he ain't show you how to get out yet. So you're seeking him for a word. You can't get a word because you're too frustrated from where you are. But another word that comes along with diapause, facultative diapause is the first one. But the